What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Rachel and I create videos for brands, businesses and people here in Australia. And on this channel, I share business tips for freelancers, gear reviews, tips and tricks for filming and editing, and give you a behind the scenes look at shoots of my own. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you hit the subscribe button now. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 amateur mistakes that you need to avoid. First mistake is exporting your videos in high frame rates. 24 or 25 frames per second is what looks most natural to the eye. If you were to export your videos in 50 frames, 60 frames, 100, 120, whatever it may be, your videos will look a bit weird. Now, not a lot of people can notice this, and I can't actually show an example of this in this video because I will be exporting it at a normal frame rate. So I'll leave a link in the description of a video that I will export purposely in a high frame rate so you can get a feel for what it actually looks like. Now, of course, a lot of people film their videos in a high frame rate, but just make sure your timeline settings and your export settings are set to 24 or 25 frames per second and you'll be all good. Mistake number 2 is having clips that aren't straight. Now, sometimes you may be going for an effect. If you're shooting handheld, whatever, you could be intentionally shooting on an angle. All good, but I'm referring to clips where someone's using a gimbal and the x-axis is like unbalanced a tiny bit, and so the whole clip is just tilted a little bit. And I see this quite a lot in real estate when someone's just, walking through a house and the camera's tilted, and it just makes you look a little bit unprofessional because it's seriously as easy as zooming in a tiny bit and rotating the clip to straighten it up. So mistake number 3 is shooting in high shutter speeds and not using an ND filter. I literally only picked up an ND filter about a month ago, and so I would always just crank my shutter speed up really high when I was shooting outside or whatever. I don't want to talk about it anymore, I'm embarrassed. But about a month ago, I picked up this SLR variable ND filter and it is insane. So I picked up the 82 thread size one so I can just use step up rings for all of my lenses because I think this cost about $250 and I couldn't warrant buying all sizes. What I especially like about this ND filter is it has a range. Let's see if it'll focus. I don't think it'll focus, but it has a range, so it doesn't let you keep spinning infinitely and give you that X pattern that it does on some variable NDs. So it's sort of like the Peter McKinnon and Polar Pro version where it stops when it reaches its limit. The build quality is amazing. Just everything about it is really, really good. I'll do a separate review on that another time, but you should definitely pick up an ND filter, and I recommend this one. So just quickly, the reason you shouldn't crank your shutter speed up really high is because there's this rule called the 180-degree rule where you should only have your shutter speed set at W frame rate. I primarily shoot in 50 frames per second, so I keep my shutter speed at 1/100 at all times. Any lower than that and it looks weird, any higher than that and it removes pretty much all motion blur. So the aim is to keep it at W frame rate at all times, and using an ND filter allows you to do that. So mistake number 4 is color grading. I'm no expert, I don't really do much color grading, but I do know what looks good and what looks ridiculously amateur. Now I'm just going to use real estate as an example here. Sometimes I see videos where they've got like crazy hectic ass filters and it takes away from the actual video. People are watching these videos because they're interested in buying the house, not because they want to see how cool you can edit it. So that's something you need to remember, is to not overdo it with the color grading. Sometimes natural is best. So mistake number 5 is overdoing speed ramps and not making your cuts or your speed ramps sync to the beat. Videos look so much more pleasant when it's all synced up to the beat. So this video right here, nothing synced up to the beat. It's a bit erratic if you ask me. And right now, these are the exact same clips, exact same song, everything's just synced up really nicely. I'm not even going to talk about it any further because I know those examples have proven my point exactly. So that's it, guys. Those are my 5 mistakes that you should avoid to make your videos look less amateur. Now, if you liked it, consider giving it a thumbs up and even letting me know in the comments down below. I'll see you next time. I can't even talk. It just looks amateur. Don't do it. The gimbal might spaz a little bit, and so the Z-axis? Z. I'm gonna have to work out what axis that is. Don't you hate when you feel like actually don't know what you're talking about? My life. So the aim is to keep it at that 180 degree rule. 180 degree. So the aim is to keep it double your shutter